This video is made with the sponsorship of Ecrotech New Zealand, one source for all your beekeeping requirements. Hi, Trev here from Trevs Bees on Facebook and YouTube. Today I want to talk to you about queen breeding and in this segment, queen breeding equipment. Queen raising. Bees raise queens for three reasons, generally three reasons. For an emergency, so for whatever reason, usually us clumsy beekeepers have gone in and killed the queen somehow, accidentally, so they build a queen in an emergency. They can build a queen for supersedure. So that means the queen's getting old, and they just want to replace her. Or the third reason that they build build queen cells is if they plan on swarming. So what we want to do with our queen raising units is to encourage both emergency raising and swarm impulse. If we can get both of those things to work, we'll get really good, strong cells. And the other thing, of course, we want to raise queens that we like. My criteria for raising queens is that they need to perform well, that is, lay lots of eggs and look after the hive and no diseases. But I want gentle bees and quiet, calm bees. So if I pick up a frame of bees, I don't want bees flying everywhere. If I go and puff a bit of smoke into the hive, I don't want bees pouring out to attack me. Quiet, gentle bees, and it doesn't matter, they will still all perform about the same of bringing in honey, whether they're aggressive bees or calm bees. So let's have gentle bees. So what we do is we want to make a nucleus colony that is very, very strong with bees. So it's going to have about 8 frames of bees inside a 5-frame nuke box. So they're on the edge of wanting to swarm. But we're going to make them queenless. So they want to raise queens. So to that end, we will put in a bar or two of grafts so that they can raise the brood that they want, or the queens that we want. And then of course we're going to steal those queens and we can keep reusing those colonies 3 or 4 times. There's lots of stuff around that you can buy that you don't need to have, but there's plenty of good salesmen around who will suggest that's just what you need. You can make some of the stuff yourself, or you can buy it all. I like queen rearing because it means lots of equipment for me, and I like having lots of equipment. So we're doing this little series of videos on queen raising for the hobbyist, not for the commercial. So some of the procedures that I'm going to show here aren't really suitable for large quantity queen raising. If I get 5 to 10 queen cells a week or every 10 days, I'm more than happy with that. If I get 1, that's fine. If I get 10, that's fine. And if I manage to fill up the whole lot and get 26, that's fine as well. We will show you all the processes through in this series of videos. But today's video is going to be just on some of the equipment. And I say some of it because there's a lot more equipment you can use as well. So, just as a brief run through, we have a JZBZ system, and they make their own special cups, queen grafting cups, and this frame holder. It's a full depth, but for me I would chop it off here and make it into a 3/4. So this is my frames here, and you can see the difference in size. So I could chop that off here and make it into a 3/4 frame. So these little plastic things here, bars, are for holding the cells, and they fit into the grooves here. So you can, so we can sort that. We can graft into them and then put those into the hive. You don't need to fill up every hole. You can just put every second one in, or every third one, or whatever. You can just pop them in, nice and easy. Take them in, take them out as you suit. You may only decide you want to graft 1 bar. That's fine. If you want to graft 2 bars, that's fine. If you want every hole filled, that's fine. If you just want 3 or 4, that's fine. It's for the hobbyist, as you want. You can buy different types of queen cups. These are Beekeeping queen cups. And the difference between these two is this one's got a shoulder on it and this one hasn't. The one with a shoulder is designed to fit into one of these bars, and you simply put them in, give them a twist, and there they are. You can get something like about 30 odd cells across, but you might only want to put 4 or 5 in. You can buy these little aluminium strips from your normal supplier, or you can get these straight cells which don't have a hole in them, don't have a shoulder on them. And for that, I made this little special little bar, and it's just simply a bar with holes in them so that the graft plug fits in there. Queen cup. Don't get hung up about the terminology, what I use, what you use, all different things. So I made up a simple frame, 3/4 deep, and I just put some little blocks on here to hold the bars. I also put a little screw in through here to penetrate into one end of the bar. So when I put it in, push it onto the screw. The bar is quite tight, and it'll just slide in there, and now it won't fall out. So I can graft it, then put it in here, then put it in the beehive. Nice and simple. Exactly the same principle with this one, with the cups. And as you can see, we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, about 26. So there's as many on 1 bar as there is on 2 bars of this. But you don't have to. You can put 10 on, 5 on, whatever you want. I'm not going to discuss much about how we use all this. We will discuss that at each stage on what I'm going as we get through with the queen rearing. So you can buy these cups, queen cups. They're just about 3 cents each when you buy a big bag full. Being a bit of a miserable person that I am, I actually made a little scraper here. So hang on, there's a queen cup. So if I have a failure with a queen cup, I can actually get in here with this little piece and clean out any rubbish that's in there and reuse the cup. I find that the bees are fine. So it's just a bit of an old hacksaw blade that I ground down and put a bit of a round end on it. Some people use what we call hair curlers, so you can use these for having the queen emerge on the frame into a cup so that she doesn't end up running around the hive, and then you can put virgins straight into hives. I don't particularly do that. Queen cups, these fold over and got a little cap on them. You plug a bit of queen candy in there. We have 3 different types here. there's a lot more than that. You can make your own. There's plans on the internet on how to make your own. When you are successful, hopefully, with raising some queens, and you want to put a queen cell into a hive, you need to protect it in some way. So you can buy these. These are cell protectors, and there's two different types here, if I can find out where to get into the bag. These will be shown how to use at a later date. So we have a side one, which presses into the side. And we have a top bar one, so it'll actually sit imagine that's in your real hive, and that'll sit down there and hang up there just like that. So nice and simple to use. Me, I'm a miserable person, don't like spending money, so I've got some 1/2 inch 12mm plastic irrigation pipe. I cut them off about that long, which is about that long, about the joint of my little finger, of my index finger, and then I cut them open with a Stanley knife, craft knife, and they will pop around the cell, and I just open them up, put them over the top of the cell, and that's it. The cell's protected. Even cheaper than these things. All right, the next bit of equipment that we've got is some homemade stuff, and a little bit of, or the last 2 bits of equipment is Chinese grafting tool, for those who like those, and a 000 artist brush, sable hair. So as you can see on the end here, it's very, very fine, and we use these for grafting larvae. We want the larvae to be as small and as young as possible. I've made this grafting table. Had a request for a grafting table from one of my friends, and after a bit of discussion, this is what I came up with. So we can put the grafting bar in here, and we can adjust the angle that we've got that on, and that can be locked up into place. And we put the frame of brood and young larvae on here, and we can adjust that to suit whatever angle we like, whatever your preference is. That's homemade. I don't have any measurements for it. I just lay a frame down and started playing and fiddling, and that's what I came up with. I've made a few, and everyone who's had them have been pretty happy with them. So I've got one of these LED lights that you can buy off AliExpress for less than $10 delivered to New Zealand, so we'll see how that uses. I've got a set of magnifying glasses that I can put on my glasses that clamp on just like that, and I can adjust them slightly so that even us blind fellas, when you're getting a bit old, can see the larvae. Larvae are pretty tiny. As I said, artist brush and a Chinese grafting tool. And the other thing is that I have is that I don't like bee brushes. But I don't like shaking the bees off my brood that I'm going to graft from. I like to brush them all off. And I find that when you're using a bee brush, the bees get quite grumpy when they get caught up in the fur, in the bristles of the brush. So I tend to use this. This is a duck wing, and it's chopped off just after the duck's dead, of course, from one of my duck shooting friends, and it's chopped off just there, so I've only got the 3 or 4 wingtip flight feathers. Or in this case here, I've been down the lagoon and picked up some goose feathers that are just lying down there at the lagoon. So nice and soft when you come into brushing bees off. So that's just about it for the equipment. The next stage is we're going to throw on some bee gear and get the smoker going, and we'll go out and we'll find some brood, and we'll do some grafting. So that's it for Trev with Trevs Bees on Facebook and YouTube. Queen raising equipment and why we raise queens.